Hey, how's it going, everybody? We're going to do another episode of Beta Breakdown here, and I want to talk about the upcoming Ninja Heroes, Ninja Troops, which I'm very surprised to be reporting they're going to be adding more 4-star troops to the game, and the event itself. In the interest of keeping the video short, I'm going to try to be very efficient in talking about these things. They're still subject to changes in beta, so it doesn't make sense to evaluate the heroes in a long-winded way because they may just change anyways, but I want to show what the new dynamic is that is going to be with these heroes, which is actually really cool. So we'll talk about that. We'll look at what is being presented now and see how much time is left. Maybe we'll talk about the basics of the event, but so far it's like a 50-floor tower called the Ninja Tower, and you have to play through it kind of like event stages, and there's a bit more to it. So we'll talk about all of that right now. Okay, so getting into the heroes, there are going to be 5 new legendaries, 1 in each color, and you can see that the names are sort of a play on those colors, and then 3 in the epic category. So it's nice they're adding some epics. The percentage chance is going to be 1% for the 5 stars, which, if you didn't know, is shared by all 5 of them. So you have like a 0.2% chance at each one. The epics are going to be a 5.7% chance, so not extremely better. So those are like a little bit less than a 2% chance. The really cool thing is the new mechanic they're adding here, which in this case is that they don't have mana speed. So when you look at the card, which I can't show, Small Giant copy striked one of my videos because I showed beta images, so we can't do that anymore, unfortunately. But if you look at the card, it says that under speed, it just says charge. And what that means is there are 3 different tiers to the special skill, which is really cool. It's sort of like a variable special skill, as you might imagine. The more you charge it up, the more powerful it gets. But the fact that you can choose what point to use it is pretty awesome. Like, what if you could use Heimdall at fast speed, but just get less of the ability? Like, that could come in handy. And so this is a really cool ability that they've added. It looks like it's about under 5 tiles for each charge. So if we think about that, they're introducing 2 new speeds there. It might be like 4.8 or 4.9. There's no mana troop that can get you down to only 4 tiles. But the average speed one, the second charge, I'm sure you could speed up just like you can an average speed hero with a level 23. Again, these things are subject to change, but this is what it's looking like right now. So the speeds are kind of then like super fast, which is like 4.8, 4.9 tiles, instead of the very fast, which is usually 6.5. So we have like this new category of super fast. It would then be average speed after that, and then there's like super slow, which would be somewhere around 15 tiles, which is 1.5 tiles slower than very slow. So that's a lot of matches to make, but it's also very strong abilities. So let's get into these specific heroes. So let's start with the green. I looked at these very briefly, wasn't impressed, so I'm not going to read out the stats. You can see them right there. This one's more defensively geared, and the 3 different levels are all a variation of the same thing. So each hero kind of has a thing, and then you just get more of it. So in this one, it's reducing mana, which goes from 10 to 15 to 25. Caster gets 25% chance to dodge for 3 turns. Second time, caster nearby allies get the chance of dodging special attacks, and then all allies get 75% chance. So I'm not really that into this. It's like just purely a support hero. The mana cut is nice, but I usually like to have something else going on. So you can always pause and look at these more in depth if you want, but there's a lot to cover here, so I want to keep moving. The blue, a wizard, definitely more attack geared. We haven't seen defensive stat under 700 in a while, if I can remember correctly. Katana Rain. So first charge, 270 to the target. Attack has a 50% chance to bypass. That's kind of a Valhalla thing brought in here. You can see that their mind is in that place from creating the Valhalla heroes, and then this being sort of a simultaneous event. Deals 320, so the second charge, this is at average speed. So think about them that way. The first one is like super fast, the last one is super slow, the middle is average. So you can compare them to other average speed heroes, you know, or other very fast heroes that you know, knowing that this will be even easier to get. Slightly. You know, matching for 5 tiles is sort of awkward and is almost always going to involve 2 matches. Second charge deals 320 to the target and nearby enemies. The attack has 75% chance to bypass defensive buffs, including counterattacks. Final one, 370 damage, 370% damage to all enemies. The attack has a 100% chance to bypass defensive buffs. So that is very strong, but if you keep in mind you have to match 15 tiles, not super compelling in my opinion. Purple. Also, very strong stats here. Okay, you can look at all the class and stuff like that. So, Crippling Claws deals 250 to the target. Target is immune to new buffs and dispels buffs from the target. So another 5-star Dispeller. Second, at average speed, 300 damage to the target and nearby enemies. Target and nearby enemies are immune to new buffs for 4 turns. And dispels buffs, and then 350 damage to all enemies at, you know, super slow speed. All enemies are immune. So that one's not that interesting. It's the red one that's coming up last that I'm most interested in. Alright, so here we have the yellow. Again, these are very likely to change. More defensive-oriented hero. Sort of a 5-star Wilbur thing going on here. All allies share receive damage for 2 turns. All allies get plus 20% defense for 2 turns, and mana generation. So they took the mechanic of Wilbur and just added more to it and added different tiers to it. Excuse me. Second charge at Wilbur's actual speed. All allies share receive damage. All allies share receive damage with each other for 4 turns. All allies get plus 40% defense. Excuse me. All allies get plus 26% mana generation. So a little bit weaker than Wilbur, aside from the mana generation. That is nice. I'm really not that into this hero either. I really like the mechanic, but I don't love any of these at first glance. We'll dive more into these as we see what the beta changes are afterwards. Third charge, super slow speed. All allies share receive damage for 5 turns, plus 73% defense, and 33% mana generation. So that's huge. But it takes a lot to get to that. You know, like there's some fights where I use 3-2. There's some fights where I don't even hardly charge either the 3 or the 2, and just one of those mini teams does all the heavy lifting. So this is considerable amount of tiles to get them all, to charge up to this 3rd mana charge. This is the one that I'm most into, this red hero. Pretty balanced stats, decently high HP, sorcerer, which I do need a sorcerer. I've got 1180 emblems or something like that. So, first mana charge boosts health of all allies by 220. Added as temporary HP, so again, very Valhalla reminiscent thing. All allies are immune to new status ailments for 3 turns. I didn't even catch that the first time. This hero is awesome. I really like this one already. Immune to new status ailments for 3 turns on the first cast, so that's pretty easy to do. And if you look, the second cast is not twice as good. So the fact that you can add this HP, I could see myself just using this hero at super fast speed constantly, because it's not doubling the second time. It's a little bit under double. They add 1 turn to the immunity, and it goes up to 400, whereas 440 would be double. Third time around, boosts health of all allies by 720. Again, that one is better than triple the first mana charge. And then all allies are immune to new status ailments for 5 turns. So this hero on offense would be killer. I haven't thought about this on defense, but I want to make sure we keep moving here so we don't take too long. That's my favorite by far. Okay, so the epics I have not looked at all. No idea what color this is. So this is purple. Defense is very low, Blur of Steel, so deals 220 to the target, dispels buffs, deals 265, dispels buffs, deals 255 to target and nearby, 300 to all. I guess just for like a super fast dispeller. And there's, the cost of leveling 4 stars is so much less that if I got this 4-star, I would definitely level them up. To have a, really fast dispel. Because if you think about the tournaments, just one quick thought here, the epic tournaments, you can't bring mana troops. So your very fast heroes charge in 6.5 tiles. This hero would legitimately charge in 2 matches. So this would be a new class, a new speed class for the epic 4-star, the 4-star tournaments. So that is something to keep in mind. And it's blue. Wait. Did I get off topic? Can't remember where I was. It was this one, I think. Okay, so then Sapphire, again, pretty low defense, but very high attack stat and good HP. Usually the higher attack stat 4 stars are around like 1,000 HP or something. Okay, 225 to the target. Attack has a chance to bypass. 250 to the target, so it's still only single target with a chance to bypass. 290 to the target, so single target the whole time. I don't really like that hero. I don't like the chance to bypass, because if it's riposte or something, which it often is for 4 stars, then you just have to choose that you are accepting, even charging them at average speed, slightly more than half the time, it won't blow up in your face. But still, 4 times out of 10, on average, it will. So, not really that into that hero. Okay, Shale is a red. Pretty balanced stats. Great HP. Okay. Caster regenerates over 3 turns, dispels status ailments, so another cleanser. So at average speed, let's compare to Regard. The heal is a lot less than Regard. This just seems distinctly worse. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm missing something here. I'm trying to go quick over these so we can cover everything without making it like a 40-minute video. But Regard is doing like 600 something HP over 3 turns at average speed. Actually at fast speed, because the costume bonus. Dispels status ailments from the caster and nearby. That's just worse. So finally at super slow speed, we're getting part of Costume Regard's special. Sorry, same Regard, I meant to say Costume Regard. Yeah, not into that at all. The family bonuses, however, are very nice if in the ridiculous chance you get multiple of these heroes. And it's a cool one we haven't seen before. So it's only for 2 and 3 heroes. 5% or 15% chance to dodge normal attacks and special skills. So just at all times, you have a little bit of the rogue talent built in addition to other ones if you decide to put emblems on them. And 5 or 15% chance to counterattack with 100 or 105% of the damage received. That's amazing. The chance, obviously if you dodge, I don't think it's possible for you to counterattack. I don't think there is a hero that can dodge and also counterattack, so I have to assume it'd be one or the other, but that just means that you have a 10% chance of something really good happening. Or does 2 5% chances add up to a 10% chance? I'm pretty sure it does. So just trying to think of, obviously 5 plus 5 is 10, but from a statistics standpoint. So those seem really valuable to me. I really like those family bonuses, and they're a little more imaginative compared to some of the other ones that are just like plus attack and plus mana. Granted, attack and mana are great, but I just enjoy the newness of these, so that's pretty cool. Okay, let's look at the troops, because this is something that I've wondered if and when it was going to happen. I kind of didn't think it would. The troop portal has been very stale for a while. But this is really cool, so let's take a look at this. And here we are, new ninja troops. A lot of the troops kind of look like ninja-esque anyways. The mana troops at least have that sort of sleek ninja vibe. So an additional set of epic troops, so it looks like 1 of each color, will be added. Yeah, and they'll make up part of the 10% for epic troops. So this is, just to give my thoughts on this real quick, I think it's crap. doing troop pulls to me seems like one of the lowest value, the lowest returns on investment in this game whatsoever. Because I did like 2 troop pulls early on when I started playing this game, and then I was like, whoa, that was like $15 to $20 or something. I was like, that is a ripoff. Because if you get even 2 troops, then it's like you're paying like $10 for an unleveled troop or something. So I don't know, I'm not confident on that math entirely, but that's in the ballpark, and to me it's just like, wow, not worth it. Or I know there's people at the high levels of this game that do troop pulls just so they can level up their troops, and like you may have to do, I don't know, 2 to 3 pulls depending on the level, just to be able to push the levels of your high level troops up by 1, which gives you a 1% gain in one category. So it's just like a horrible value. So the fact that they're trying to like renew interest in the troop portal really doesn't appeal to me at all. It's cool that if you just collect your troop tokens from whatever aspects of the game, then all right, you have a chance at something new. But the 10% chance being split now across the new ones is like much more likely you'll just get the older ones. So like pulling in here for these troops is just abysmal. Like this makes the Tavern of Legends look like the best deal in the game, which is, an area of the game that a lot of people feel like is a terrible value based on the high chance you have of getting Season 1 heroes. So anyways, not into that. It's kind of exciting that they've created new troops, but then when you realize that it's in that crusty old troop portal, you're like, maybe not. But I understand like they can't create like a a troop hero of the month or a troop of the month, because that would just be way too much troop variety, and I don't think they really want to do that. Because if we look at what's here, I don't know if you've been reading this while I've been talking, but it's just a slight retool of the mono troop. The healing and the mono bonus have remained the same. What they've done is they've taken, so typically a fully leveled mono troop has 25% attack and 18% defense. So they've pulled 3% off of the defense and then added another 2% on attack. So this over a level 30 mono troop, regular mono troop, these ones will have 5% more attack. So if that were, let's see, if you had a attack stat of 1,000, that would be 50 more attack. So and that's at level 30, which I've been playing for 14 months, maybe 13 months, like every day, and my highest level troop is 20. So like you're not going to see those gains in full for like 2 years unless you're spending a ton of money, which again I do not advise doing, because the troop pulls are just a terrible value in my opinion. The return on investment is low, which is what I should say, and why I feel they have a terrible value. So the increments go up the same just as they do for normal troops, the difference being that they start at a different place. So a level 1 ninja troop is going to have different stats than a level 1 mono troop. So it's just slightly different. You get 2% across the board more overall, which is not anything to write home about or anything to be too excited about. And then it's just moving them around. So you lose 3% on defense, which I think is not insignificant. Staying alive is just as important as hitting hard, and I've run into some confusion internally on where I want to put emblems on heroes, because like, do you want to make them super strong but not as tough? Do you want to make them super tough but not as strong so they live longer and fire more? Like, I have not found one right answer, and I've searched a lot, I've asked a lot of people's opinions, and there just doesn't seem to be like a statistically better answer, at least from how we can determine now. So really what you can say for these is that it's different. It's exciting that they've added a new troop, because it's like, oh yeah, of course they would do something like that, because they haven't, ever, as far as I know. But then you look more into it and you're like, it's a bit disappointing, or like not as exciting as I would hope. So something you could still expect to get, I guess 5% of the time from your epic troop tokens. So that's cool enough for me. I'm not going to do any pulls on troops. But that's what's going on with them. Let's look at this event real quick. I just want to add that for anyone who wants to see the progression of the troops, Here it is. Just pause this. I'm going to scroll through it and just pause, and you can look at it. On the right, it shows what stat increases with each level, and you can see that these start at 21%, which is pretty good. I forget where the other ones start. Maybe they start at, I can't remember. But anyways, there's the first half. Here's the second half. All right, let's talk about this Ninja Tower real quick. Okay, so usual caveats, everything is extremely likely to change. I believe this feature is coming this year. No idea what month. I guess it could be maybe as early as October, but we really don't know yet. All this stuff is likely to change, so don't take anything too seriously, but just keep in mind that the overall structure of it will be the same. So this kind of gives you like a hazy bird's eye view of what you can expect, and then all the finer details are still yet to be solidified. So if you look at the overview, it's a new event. Similar to others, the main goal is to climb as high as you can in the tower, which has now 50 floors instead of 100, which I think is much more sensible. 100 stages is insane, unless it's like a month-long quest, and even still. So yeah, 50 is more reasonable. You have to complete each floor before you progress to the next. You cannot replay them. Wow, can't find the word I want. Similar to the rare quests, unlike the events, but similar to the rare quests. Each floor has monsters and bosses. We don't know what they're going to be yet. So the new mechanic here are Oni gems and blessings. These are like unique tiles on the board that if you don't match them within a certain number of turns, cast a curse on your heroes, preventing them from further use. So kind of like how the Tavern of Legends, you can only use heroes once. That's not the same here, but if you get the curse on them, then it is like that, and you don't get to use that hero anymore. So to me, that seems like a pretty steep penalty, and could really screw you over, because sometimes it's hard to match those. You know, hopefully there won't be as many of them as there are for like those Halloween pumpkin bombs or the ice stuff in the Christmas levels, because that adds a lot of difficulty just in terms of the matching. And if you lose a hero every time you don't match one, that's pretty strict. And then, you know, plain and simply just comes down to luck, because I think you're sort of competing. There's going to be a leaderboard, and I think you're kind of competing in a way with people in your alliance. I remember seeing something like that mentioned. So if you get a bad board, then, and it, you know, takes out, if it randomly casts onto your heroes and it's a hero you're depending on, then you're kind of screwed. Okay, so we covered those. Every 5 floors completed, so there will be 10 sets of 5 floors. You are offered a choice of blessing selected from one of 3 random options. These remain active for the rest of the Ninja Tower event. But see, like, what if you used all your blessings on one hero and then they get a curse on them? Like, does that insulate them from it? Or are they just out and all the blessings are wasted? I'm not really sure, but that's probably what they're trying to figure out right now. So these blessings are now the same choice of 3 for every player. Uses tower energy. Tower energy is no longer purchasable. Total of 10 out of 10. Fully replenishes every 21 hours. Well, that's not very often. Okay, so you can pause and read that change there if you want to. I'm not going to go into that right now. So floors currently have a timer, similar to the... I'm having a hard time with that word tonight. Similar to the challenge event stages. There is a scoring to it also, and I think there are rewards based on that, or like if you finish up high, similar to the challenge events, then you might get heroes or something. So I think it's going to be pretty competitive for item use and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot like the challenge events, where people are going to be burning tons of flasks and using really costly items to try to burn through the stages really quickly. Leaderboard, highest floor for each player in addition to a score. Rewards are currently structured like a challenge event. Okay, just as I suspected. Rewards have been updated. Tower event duration has now been set to 5 days. That seems really tight, because if it's every 21 hours you get 10 and it's only 5 days, then you really only have like, yeah, there's not a lot of leeway in there. You have to do 10 floors every day. So yeah, that seems pretty tight, and that might be something that they've changed. Like when Path of Valor first came out, it was very difficult to complete in the amount of time if you missed anything, and it was hard to get the rewards. So they've structured all that to make it far easier, I think, each time, while keeping the quantity of rewards the same. So I think these are some of the changes that we'll probably still see here. You can pause and read that tooltip. That's like if you hit the question mark or the exclamation point, it tells you. That's how it summarizes the event for now. Placement. Wow. So I guess rank number 1, and that's where I don't know if this is like global leaderboard or if this is within your alliance, but that seems like a really good reward. 100 emblems of each class. That's massive. When they had the Teleria Vela debacle the first time, they gave everyone, I think, 20 of each one. So this is 5 times their apology for, creating a big problem in the game. So this must be first place, like, in the event total. I can't believe it's only 300 tower coins, because I think it's 100 coins per pull, just like all the other ones are. Okay, so 80 of each class, 60. So I'm not expecting, and obviously there's all these items and time freezes and all that crap. The emblems are definitely the most valuable part of it. So wow, so it's really an emblem kind of thing. Damn, strong incentive to finish high, but I hate the grind of the events and just the flasks and all the items, and it's just that part. I tried to compete once and was like, nope, this is not for me. Okay, Oni gems appear at random, must be destroyed within 3 turns or they'll explode. Alright, so when it appears on the board, a random one of your heroes is cursed. So they're cursed right when the gem appears, so you'll know who's impacted. If it's not destroyed before it explodes, the curse is permanent. Okay, any hero who is cursed, it used to be 5 times, now it's only 3 times, during the Ninja Tower event can no longer be used thereafter. So granted, you're going to want to start with your weaker heroes at first. Maybe. There's a trade-off there, so let's go into this real quick. If you're trying to compete, you want to be using your badass team the entire time. The more often you're using your badass team, unless you're using tons of items to blow through, the greater the chances of losing one of those heroes. So that's an interesting competitive angle. It's like, do you want to take the risk with your good heroes early on, knowing you could screw yourself over later by losing a key hero? Or do you want to get lower scores to start while keeping your better heroes safe? That's going to be an interesting trade-off. Okay, random one of your heroes is cursed. Any hero cursed 3 times cannot be used thereafter. So use the Oni gem in a match with other tiles. Oh, they actually used, I've never seen them use the tile nomenclature. Usually they say shields in all the cards. Because this is probably not written by Small Giant. This is probably written by moderators. It can be moved like a match, unlike the runes. Adjacent Dragon Bomb to destroy it. On colored diamond. Complete the stage before the countdown ends. Fleeing does not break the curse. Interesting. Okay. Let's look at what these blessings are. If you want to read this additional stuff on the Oni curses, feel free to pause it right here. And, we can talk about this stuff more as it solidifies, but I don't like to get too deep into the strategy early on when things are changing, but I want to give you guys an idea of what's coming up. Okay, so here are there are 3 fixed options, and you can select one. Each set of 3 options is predetermined and is the same for all players based on a given stage. So that's removing some of the random luck where, someone invariably will just get better blessings, because if there's variance, someone will get better stuff, someone will get worse. We know that from polls. But Here are some examples: 5% critical chance, 50 HP every 5 turns, 5% defense. 5% mana is pretty solid. You'd want to think about what speed hero you'd want to use that on and match your troops appropriately. So you can use that mana chart that I put in my 15 tips video, or if you haven't screenshotted that already. Summon a minion with 5% health. That's pretty stupid. 10% mana every 5 turns, not very good. So I think you're going to see people going the attack, defense, mana, and perhaps crit, but probably attack and defense because those are a little bit more dependable. Blessings can stack, so you could choose the same blessing again and again, and it would be increased. So cool. One thing I like the addition of new events. I don't defend all the new features in the game because some of them seem far less. I mean, I guess it's a business. Everything is a cash grab. They're not going to just give features that are not tied to trying to make money somehow, because it does cost development time, and all the associated costs for the art and everything with that. So it makes sense that they're trying to earn money from these things. But I've really been enjoying lately how there's always some quest going on. Like, it's either getting more emblems, which is great. It's either a what would you call it? An item quest, like getting rings or telescopes or darts or something like that, or an actual event or Valhalla or Atlantis. It's fun that there used to be bigger gaps in there, and it seems like it's all continuous now, and that's something I've really been enjoying. It keeps the game feeling a little bit fresher and like you're not just auto farming. So I like the addition of this. I think it's cool. I look forward to playing it. Not that excited about the heroes or the troops, so I probably won't be doing any pulls there. I would love to get the red hero, but that would be a fun hero to test and to use, but the odds of just are too low, so I don't think that I'm that interested in that, because the other heroes to me aren't that great. So feel free to fire off any questions down below. I know sometimes my viewers are also forum members, so if you have a question, even if I don't have the answer for it, somebody else might. So let's keep using the comment section sort of like a discussion area to talk about our thoughts on these features and heroes, and asking any questions, and then that being a place that we can also educate ourselves. I read some interesting comments down there sometimes, and I appreciate those discussions. So thank you guys for participating in that. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. That helps more people see it. So if you feel like it's useful, be sure to click the like button, because that will then help other people get the information too. It's kind of the way the YouTube algorithm works, is it likes you to vote on what you think is good content, and then it uses that as one of the metrics to suggest things to other people. And if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any uploads. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.